皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today, I like to answer a question that I often get, especially from my friends who are in Japan, like my friends from originally from high school or university and such. A lot of my friends give me a lot of messages celebrating us getting achieving 1 million subscribers. It's like, long time no talk, long time no text, getting messages and telling me congratulations for 1 million subscribers. And I was talking with a lot of friends recently. And among a few of my friends who contacted me, a lot of them asked me, especially because, I presented that my new goal is to achieve 2 million subscribers and start new businesses and so on and so forth. A lot of people ask me, Shogo, aren't you afraid? Aren't you scared of saying so many things, that I'll be doing this or I'll be doing that and always setting up so many big goals? Aren't you afraid, and things like that? And come to think of it, I actually have a small, trick, I guess, to get rid of all of my worries, actually. Not completely all of it, but I do have a small trick that I always use to try to get rid of any unneeded worries whenever I do try to challenge something new or whenever I'm trying to avoid something bad. Yeah. So to make a long story short, the trick is to be ready, to have it prepared. It's very, very simple. So when you're worried about something, when you're nervous about something, it's because you're scared of a future that you don't like might come. An unfortunate future might come is what you're afraid of. And that's the reason why you're worried about something, right? So then the best thing you can do in advance, beforehand, is to be prepared for anything that could happen. So when you just sit there and think, for example, if you're living in Japan, if you're sitting down and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so scared that an earthquake might come, for example. Recently, there's been a lot of earthquakes in Japan, and a lot of scientists are saying that there's going to be a really big one coming soon. And that's inevitable, right? There's nowhere for us to go, so we'll have to bear it. Yeah, or else maybe we might actually, end our lives during the disasters, but that's, Japan, so we have to live with it. But if you're just sitting there and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, you will definitely be scared and worried. But you got to focus on the things that you can do, you can control. So for example, in our house, we have rules for what we do and how we act when an earthquake comes in different situations. Like for example, right now, this moment right now, if an earthquake comes, I'm at home, Harumi's at home, my 2 daughters are at home, how we're going to be acting, for example, opening the windows, starting to run the water, so we'll have extra water, preparing our go bags. And that's the case if all of us are in the house. For example, if I am outside and Harumi is with the kids, there's a different, action pattern, basically, how to take action. Or the other way around, if I'm with the kids and Harumi is outside, we would do this. And we have all these rules already decided, so that if something happens, we'll just follow the rules and immediately act following them. Yep. Another thing, for example, could be if the money we make in our company suddenly falls and we can't basically continue our life right now, what should we do? We actually have ideas for this already set up too. For example, if we can't pay the minimum, the needs for all of our the money we pay, for example, the rent of our house, or the money we use to take trainings, lessons from our instructors. And if we can't pay all of this, what should we do? We already have a set plan for this as well. If we can't earn this much money, we'll have to do this. If we go completely zero, if we go completely bankrupt, we'll do this, and eventually we'll do this. We have all of the set plans already, completely prepared, and we have it shared within our team too. Yeah. So there's really nothing to worry about. If it happens, we just do it, And also, I use this trick whenever I go to a tournament or take exams. For example, Yaido, my training, I need to go up to the next dan. I would think of all the things that might happen. Being on stage, I always try to think of the worst things that can ever happen and be prepared. Basically, for example, during a tournament, if I ever, for example, make a mistake, I always prepare beforehand what I would do if I make a mistake. For example, okay, I know I can't win, but how about we just do the kata from the very beginning, and try to do the best I can. Of course, I'm not going to be winning if I make a mistake anyways. So if that happens, how about we start the kata from the very beginning and do it? At least get the experience of doing it in front of all of the instructors, the judges. Yeah. Or like being on stage. Let's, for example, say if I dropped my katana during a performance, what would I do? So on and so forth. I like have all of the worst case scenarios basically inside my head, head. I just have it all written down. I just bring a piece of paper. I write down all of the worst things that can ever happen in that tournament, that stage performance, whatever it is. It may be during a live stream on YouTube and stuff too. So I just have all the things that could happen and just write down all the things I would do to solve it beforehand. And once all that is written down, there's hardly anything that you need to be worried about, because once it happens, you just do that, right? So whenever you feel worried or whenever you're scared of something, just write down the worst thing that could ever happen. And try to write down the things after that. Try to write down the things how you can solve that problem if that ever happens. And when you start thinking about that, the worst thing, maybe the worst thing would be like you dying, and your life ends. So that there's basically nothing you can do that if that happens. So if you try to think of like the very worst thing, not that you'll realize that not that such a bad thing would ever happen actually in the first place. Yeah. Like for stage performances, as I earlier said, or even business. If, for example, we start to operate at a loss, well, that doesn't mean we're going to be dying, right? We'll still have a chance to, revive and start new things eventually. I've actually completely went, I do have an experience of actually running a business at a loss right after COVID-19. I have a different business, which I had to close down in 2 months using millions of yen. And I've already experienced that before. And in your imaginations, you might imagine that, the worst thing would be like this. Oh no, this might happen. But when you're just imagining, just sitting there and just, gazing and imagining, everything seems really scary and terrible. When you actually get down with a pen and a pencil paper and a pencil, sorry, with a paper and a pen or whatever it is, and you start writing them down, you'll immediately realize the worst case scenario is something that you can absolutely overcome once you actually start writing it down. Yeah. And my trick to getting rid of all my worries, my fear, for example, is that. For example, I do, of course, have ideas for what if I couldn't achieve 2 million subscribers? What would I say to everyone? What kind of videos would I make from there? What would be my new goal from there, and so on and so forth. I have all these things in mind into, yeah. So that no matter what happens, I'll be able to just do it and act and not, just linger on to the worries or fear or the embarrassment and stuff like that. All you can do, as I have in my hanging scroll, written on my hanging scroll, Jinji o tsukushite tenmei o matsu, just do what you can do. Focus on the things that you can control and let nature do everything else for you. Let nature do the rest. Let destiny lead you, basically it means. So all you can do is control yourself, right? So have a list of actions you'll take if the worst things happen, The good things that will happen, you'll be able to know what to do immediately, right? The bad things, though, you tend to just imagine too much, and it just spreads out and, gets really big and starts to, overwhelm you, right? But once you start writing it down, it will shrink. It'll come to a point where you think, wow, why was I worried about this in the first place? So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know that there's a lot of people studying Japanese, willing to come to Japan to travel, study, and work, and even train in our traditional culture and such. However, I am very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future because we're facing a lot of social problems, we are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are actually dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life to try to make Japan a better place. I really want to try to solve the social problems, preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations so they can have a brighter future. And to do that, my nearest goal right now is to achieve 2 million subscribers by January 2023 on my main channel, so your likes and comments likes and comments help boost my videos to new viewers who have never seen my video before, so it'd be great if you can help me out. There we go. Alright, this is a really tongue twister there. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you who have listened to the very end for me, thank you so much. Kazu has officially decided to start training in taiko drums, by the way. Yay! So once he starts getting used to training in iai and kenjutsu as he is doing with me, and also training in drums, the third thing he wants to do is actually shodo calligraphy. We actually have a good sensei, an instructor already in mind, which is the shodo instructor that wrote our hanging scroll. Yeah, so she will be probably the instructor that will be teaching Kazu in the future. We're not too sure yet, yeah, but she lives close by and her training place is not that far away, so I think that would probably be the best idea, especially because I know her already and I took her lessons for about a year. I could definitely trust her a lot, so if Kazu eventually starts that, she will probably be the instructor, so I hope you can look forward to that. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.